News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Some University of Montana professors lashing out at administration. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. Congratulations, you made it. It's Friday, November the 20th, 2015. Right now, the sky is cloudy. We have 28 degrees, a little bit of snow on the ground, just a skiff here in western Montana. Our newscast this morning is brought to you by locally owned Office Solutions and Services. You can download their Office Shopper app for purchases, barcode scanning, and to search products. Our top story this morning, many University of Montana professors are outraged over upcoming cuts, which they argue target faculty and mostly ignore administration. Yesterday on Talkback, Professor Linda Fry said not only are administration salaries too high, there are altogether too many administrators.
The ideal ratio, by the way, according to the AAUP and the Chronicle, was for every 3 tenured faculty, 1 person who's not in the teaching faculty. And ours is 1.4 non-teaching to 1 faculty. Now, this is really completely screwed up as far as I'm concerned.
Professor Mirdad Kia, also on Talkback, claimed the cuts will harm the university financially when departments need to be rebuilt.
These cuts don't make sense. They actually would damage the financial stability, the long-term stability of the institution. There is no significant cut to the bloated university bureaucracy. I mean, you have these numbers, enormous numbers, in millions in terms of salary of the top administrators, and I do not see any major cut in any of those.
Professor Michel Valentin, a professor of French, said the blame for falling enrollment rests with the administration.
Remember, what would a business do when the CEO, after 5 years, comes up with negative 5 years of constant decline for business? Who is going to be fired first? The CEO.
Perhaps the worst charge levied at President Royce Engstrom was that he misled the teaching faculty. Kia said a group called the Realignment Committee was created to ostensibly help struggling departments, but he said that did not end up being the case.
President of the university reassured us that this committee had no such objectives and purpose. Programs were identified as strong or weak, and the weak programs were identified to be helped and to be strengthened in the long run. Lo and behold, those very programs which were identified by the Realignment Committee are now on the chopping board.
The UM Faculty Senate is scheduled to meet next Tuesday to discuss the issue. The Montana Board of Regents is meeting in Bozeman this week. One of the items under review is the plan set forth by the University of Montana to address budget cuts due to reduced enrollment. Deputy Commissioner of Higher Education Kevin McCrae has more.
The Board of Regents and the Commissioner of Higher Education discussed President Engstrom's announcement in his plan, and they are highly supportive of the plan, whereby President Engstrom is asking for the campus to be engaged in the discussion. Most importantly, it's a plan that is needed.
McCrae said no one on the Board of Regents was surprised at the announcement Tuesday in Missoula.
I cannot find anybody who is surprised by the reality or the fact that when it comes to matching expenditures with revenue, that workforce numbers need to match student enrollment numbers.
The Board of Regents meeting continues in Bozeman. Prosecutors are opposing a motion to move the trial of an Evergreen man accused of killing his girlfriend's 2-year-old son out of Flathead County. Brandon Newberry's attorneys made a request in October to move the trial to a different populated area because of the misinformation, rumors, and inflammatory news articles circulating through the county. If convicted, Newberry could face up to 100 years in prison. A veto threat from President Obama wasn't enough to stop the U.S. House from voting overwhelmingly to put a halt to the president's Syrian refugee program until more screening has been secured. Montana Congressman Ryan Zinke said he was proud of that vote.
As we've said, if the president doesn't take action, Congress will. And I'm proud my colleagues on both sides of the aisle decided to take action on the refugee, to suspend the refugee program until we have a vetting program, that we have some assurance that we don't have terrorists among the refugees.
The bill still needs to go to the Senate, where it faces opposition from Minority Leader Harry Reid. In the meantime, Zinke reiterated his plea to Governor Bullock to resist accepting Syrian refugees in Montana.
I have not heard anything back. What I don't want to see is Montana get saddled with refugees that are unvetted because we didn't take a stand.
The final vote in the House was 289 to 137, with 47 Democrats voting against their president's wishes to form a veto-proof majority. In a response to the terrorist attacks in Paris last week, Montana Senator John Tester spoke up and asked national security and law enforcement officials about how they intend to keep America safe from terrorist threats.
I think that there's not anybody that serves in Congress that doesn't want to make sure this country is as secure and as safe as it can be. I think what happened in France rattled people to their soul. And so we need to make sure the work you're doing fits the risk.
According to a press release, Tester asked Assistant Secretary of State Ann Richard and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Director Leon Rodriguez questions, quote, to ensure that the vetting process for refugees is stringent and prevents potential threats to Americans, end quote. Yellowstone National Park is backing off on its proposal to kill roughly 1,000 wild bison this winter as officials seek to reduce the animal's annual migration into Montana. Park officials met with representatives of American Indian tribes, the state, and other federal agencies yesterday. The Bozeman Daily Chronicle reports the park proposed delaying trapping until February 15th and eliminating a target number to be removed from the herd, but some tribal governments called for trapping to be delayed until late March. The eventual plan will give guidelines to bison managers during the winter months as they try to bring the population down from 5,000 to 3,000. Bison managers are now moving away from setting any sort of a numeric goal. Central Asia Institute officials say 3 Cups of Tea author Greg Mortensen will retire in January from the charity he co-founded nearly 20 years ago to build schools in Pakistan. The announcement yesterday comes more than 4 years after accusations that Mortensen fabricated events in his best-selling book and that an investigation into mismanagement of the charity's assets. A resulting settlement restructured the Bozeman, Montana-based charity, removed Mortensen as a voting board member, and stripped him of any financial oversight. And finally, Montana has been selected to conduct a pilot program with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs aimed at speeding up processing of veterans' benefit claims. The Great Falls Tribune reports the Digits to Digits program will allow selected veterans service organizations to submit electronic claims directly to the VA. Our News Talk time now, 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Mostly sunny skies today with just a slight chance of a snow shower. High temperatures will top out in the mid-30s. Mostly clear and cold tonight with lows in the single digits. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.